A couple of years back, I had a client. He was a PR guy. I used to shoot for him. You know, as many of you know, I'm a commercial photographer. So we were talking one day, and he asked me if I could do a shoot. I said, no, I have to do a reading. He said, what, a reading of your books? And at the time, all I had was the 2 photography books. I laughed. I said, no, and I explained to him what I was doing. He said, oh, I wonder if you could read my house. We were actually doing a shoot in a restaurant for food. I said, well, yeah, I'll give it a try. I don't know. So I go to his house. Now, I live in Yorktown, New York, and there was quite a lot of revolutionary activity here at one point, okay? So I go to his house. I'm sitting in his house, and I'm going from room to room. I said, you got somebody upstairs that's, you know, moving around and doing a lot of things up there. He said, yeah, that's in one room. My wife refuses to go into that room because she doesn't know what it is. Okay. Then we go into another room, and I'm sitting there telling him about that room, and I really don't remember a lot. And then but while we're in that room, I pointed. I said, "Is there a river over there in the woods?" He said, "Well, it's a creek." I said, "Well, I see a Revolutionary War soldier hiding over there, wounded, coming over here to be healed." "Oh, interesting," he said. "Okay, I don't know what that means." All right, like this, you know, we don't get, it's like not like watching a movie, okay, you know, feature film where everything is in detail. But so okay, so we were done. We went into the kitchen, and I said, I see 2 sets of plans. I said, I see war plans over here. I pointed to my right, and house plans over here. I said, I see a judge. And he said, yeah, he said, the owner of the house built a house in Somers, next town over, and he was the judge. Okay, and the war plans were from a battle that took place not too far from that house. Then I said to him, "Oh, George Washington was here. I got George Washington with me." I said, and he had a sense of humor, and I'm like, "Oh my God, don't tell," you know. And he was videotaping all of this, okay. And he said, yes, Washington knew the owner of the house. They were friends. Stopped by here twice on his way to Connecticut. Okay. Now I'm a little embarrassed because everything I knew about the Revolutionary War, George Washington, our first president, for those of you who don't know, it's sad, but a lot of you might not, did have a sense of humor. I came home and Googled it, actually, and to see if he had a sense of humor, if I had, because I was going to call Bill, the guy who was doing the video. Listen, do me a favor, cut that out because I don't want to seem stupid. Well, apparently when they were crossing the Potomac, Washington kicked one of his soldiers in the butt and said, "Move your fat ass over so we don't sink." So he did that in jest, okay. And that's what I read, that's what it came up, but it did say that Washington did have a sense of humor. Okay, now, we're done. Now that night we had a meeting. We were shooting for Physicians Against World Hunger, okay? And we had a meeting with all the physicians, and we're just about getting ready to get into the meeting when I have 2 kids chasing each other, like with like wooden guns, bang, bang. And I said, "Bill, can I talk to you out here?" He goes, "Oh, you're a pain in the ass." I said, "Hey, you asked me to do this." So I told him, told him about the kids. And then I said to him, I said, there's a little girl fell out of a tree and broke her neck. Interesting, he said. He doesn't confirm anything. Okay, we'll go back to the meeting. He writes an article. The article, I believe, is still on my webpage about the meeting. Now, he didn't believe everything I told him because he wrote a lot about his house, which was a historical house. Now, he thought I read the articles and was just parroting what was there. But I didn't read anything about his house. Even if I did, I wouldn't remember everything I read because there's apparently a lot to it. But what convinced him I was real was that little girl falling and breaking her neck, because he never wrote about that. He said he was having a conversation with the woman, I think it was a grandmother or an aunt at the time, who was there on the house, and she told him a story about the little girl who was climbing an apple tree and fell and broke her neck. Okay, that's when he believed me. It was interesting. So now I want the videotape because it was a really pretty good, house reading. He loaned his camera to somebody. The video disappeared. Man, was I upset. But what are you going to do? Okay. But yeah, I do house readings, but I'm going to tell you about this. The stuff that's happening in your house, 97, maybe 96% of it is a family member, a former loved one, somebody you knew in that house, being mischievous maybe, or just wanting to let you know that they're there. You might smell smoke, you might smell, cooking, you might smell perfume, cologne, something like that. But just for a split second, it's like, okay, that's them letting you know that they're there. So don't think that, I've never seen, let me back up. I've never seen evil on this side. Once we cross over evil, I believe it goes to the dark. I've never had it come to me, ever. Okay? And I believe that once you're evil, you can't come back. Okay? So I said, I made that very clear. And the sessions, like I said, always somebody, and I think I posted about the woman I did a session with a week ago. Her husband was like showing me his floppy, messed up slippers, and he was doing stuff in the house. They just want to let you know that they're around, okay? All the evil that you see, all the bad things that you see is all on TV shows, okay? It's all for entertainment purposes only, and pretty much most of it's made up. So if you got stuff happening in your house, it's probably a loved one that passed recently or passed a while ago. All right, I'll post some stuff about doing a house reading in Jersey. Maybe I'll do it for next week. Okay, it was an interesting house reading. I was out there specifically for that reason. All right, guys, listen. Today is Easter Sunday. Jesus came back. Jesus, he was there for us. He is there for us. God grants me these gifts always, always. Believe, always believe in yourself, always be hopeful, never hopeless, always be optimistic, never pessimistic. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.